Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah, Kuhulimla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakahakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and led by the Spirit, taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to say Tawadu to H.I.M and Akhwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Yah Hanan Nawaf, just coming at you with another quick lesson and praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And I was going to do a software update because I kept seeing it. And, and now I'm seeing the reason why I didn't automatically update, because I got so much shit in here that I need to dump, so to speak, clear up some storage space, from just doing videos every day and stuff like that. And I keep forgetting, but I kept seeing this thing pop up, right? So I go into the app, settings or whatever. And so this is iOS 18.6.1. And check out what it says. It says, this update provides a new blood oxygen experience for users in the United States with Apple Watch Series 9s and Series 10. The Apple Watch Ultra 2 measurements are calculated on iPhone and viewed in the Health app. For more information on the security content of Apple software updates, please visit, of course, they got the support, apple.com. And I just, with RFK Jr. talking about wearables, and he wants every American to have a wearable on, by the I think what he say 2029, I think. And with all this talks of all this digital stuff, it's just it just goes right along the lines with Revelation 13 and 16. Because I thought about this. It's funny because this hit me in the spirit earlier today. I didn't even know this was even on here. And I was at the gym. And I got this other, device that I haven't been wearing in a while, because Apostle said that he checked one that the beloved Apostle Tahar said that a beloved Apostle Gabar gave him a tracking, or not a tracking, but a device to keep up with certain things as far as his workouts and stuff like that. And beloved Apostle Tahar said that he checked it for radiation. He got like one of these machines and checked it for radiation. So I haven't been wearing my watch since then. That was like a few weeks back, maybe going on about a month or so. I remember him speaking about it in a video. I can't think what video it was, but he spoke on it. So I've been stopped wearing it. So Spirit hit me today, like, it's just a thought. It was just a thought about an Apple Watch. I'm like, nah, I'm not getting no fucking Apple Watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, because I already know that they're collecting data. They definitely collecting all this information, right? And again, with RFK Jr. talking about the wearables, Trump just signed the executive order with all your medical information and all this different stuff. You know what I'm saying? Being accessible to the, so-called patient. You should be able to see your own, shit, because normally you can't see your own doctor's records. It's kind of private, so to speak, even from your ass. But he was trying to make it seem as if this is going to be a good thing, all this, digital that. And, that was just me by the Spirit just seeing this, because I'm like, why my phone keep doing what it's doing? I keep seeing this update thing. And, if it had automatically updated, it wouldn't have made no difference, because I don't have the watch. I'm not planning on getting no watch. But let me just grab this quick scripture. I didn't want to keep this long, because this is where we're at right here. You don't think that Apple is not collecting all that data? You don't think that all that shit is being downloaded into their data centers? Hell, man, please. Everything that people are running around, it's going to come down to that anyway at a certain point, because he's going to want to put these wearables within you. But this is Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And we see a lot of things that's playing out, that's coming down to, the pipe right now. All this martial law shit, because pretty much that takeover with D.C., that's no more than martial law. He's talking about taking over all these other cities. They already setting up, alligator Alcatrazes and all these different spots and shit, these compounds, where they're, and talking about taking the homeless away and putting them in so-called institutions and getting them help, the help that they need, that type of stuff. So we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Let me get that, Salakia, Yeah, 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we're not ignorant of the fact that even, with me speaking right now on this phone, yeah, they're collecting data. We understand that. We understand that they know the exact videos we watch. Every time we push like for a video, they understand when they have, matter of fact, they have manuscripts and stuff like that, or, that shit'll type out everything that you're saying, as you're speaking, we understand that. But this is, we're doing this work for the gospel. So we're putting our lives on the line for the gospel. We're not putting our lives on the line for Esau to be doing whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. We ain't giving him no added cushion to try and take us down, so to speak, even though he's going to do what he's going to do because he's set up to do what he's going to do. But we're not ignorant of his devices when it comes to this technology. Matter of fact, I had just got I got some new internet or whatever. And through this particular company, through your modem, it actually has a motion detector with a modem that you can set up where if anybody passes a TV, no matter where it's at in the house, anything smart, if it passed a damn smart watch, if it passed another phone or something to that extent, from my understanding, but even off the box, so to speak, if somebody is walking through the house and they pass by it, it'll actually send you an alert that there's motion there. So I'm thinking and it kept suggesting, for me to sign up for it. Like, why the fuck would I sign up for something like that? But this is where it's all coming down to. They're collecting data and basically they're getting a little more, invasive about it, man. They want to put this shit within you because anybody can say, you know what, I'm off the grid and I ain't fucking with no more phones no more. You could toss your phone. You could, toss all the little electronic shit that you have, and just go out and just live in the damn woods if you want to. But by them actually putting this stuff within you, and they're going to try and make it seem as if it's safe. That's why the scripture talks about Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So we're not to trust this man, not to trust anything about him. It's enough that we're eating our bread defiled amongst the Gentiles. The scripture talks about that. So the food that we're eating from this very man that's claiming that he loves you so much is actually poison. I just seen an article with M&Ms and Starburst talking about they're no longer going to be using a certain type of dye or something like that by 2026. And so basically you're admitting that you've been poisoning people for decades and decades and decades, but you're not going to give up any funds for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's them coming at you. Matter of fact, verse 11 here says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. So now they're like, oh yeah, we're going to take this out. You got RFK Jr. talking about taking out the red dyes and all that little bullshit like that. They love you so much. They want to help you out, make America healthy again, all that bullshit. Hey, you're not to trust these people, because when they get to saying stuff like that right there, that's when he's ready to, hit your ass with that venom. Verse 11 again, Sirach 12:11, also known as Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach 12:11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. So eventually he's going to show you them true colors. What's Trump doing right now? His whole staff, that whole little organization that he got going on, you know what I'm saying? He ran that campaign on, he love you, he love you, he love you. He going to make America great again. And he's been making no one great except for Israel. That's it. He been cutting everybody else shit. He been cutting all the American shit, you know what I'm saying? Everything that you need to kind of somewhat survive in this place, you know what I'm saying? And he's not cutting anything to Israel. He done turned up and giving money to those people, but no one else is winning. Other than the billionaires, because his whole cabinet is pretty much overall billionaires. No one's winning, as far as regular citizens. Got a couple of these Edomites that's kind of doing a little something. But overall, he done fucked up a lot of people's businesses that went out and voted for him, But never trust thine enemy, man. Because this is all exactly what it's coming down to. This was the update. I didn't even know. I just seen it. And it's been going on for the past couple of days. I'm like, well, why hasn't it automatically updated? I didn't even pay it no attention. So I was just about to go into it to see what was going on. And just by the spirit, this was a screen that popped up. And of course, These motherfuckers, it says, this update provides a new blood oxygen experience for users in the United States with Apple Watch Series 9 and Series 10 and Apple Watch Ultra 2. Like, why the fuck would I want you to know my new blood oxygen? You know, why would I want you to know anything about my oxygen levels? Why would I want you to know anything about my breathing, my steps, and my respiratory, whatever? And see, there, Esau, he's into gradualism, but the scripture says that he's going to come down with great wrath because he know that he had but a short time. So they're actually speeding stuff like this up. You're starting to see a lot more commercials with pretty much AI / some robotic shit or some shit that they basically want to fuse you together with, all this robotic, whatever the case may be, transhumanism. And you're starting to see a lot more commercials like that. Matter of fact, the Breakfast Club interview with Charlemagne the God, and I've seen it like about 2 days or so ago, but I've seen a couple of the brothers had done videos on it, like Charlemagne the God is like, will you take the chip? They straight talking about Neuralink, niggas. And then they sitting on the show talking about, well, I don't know. What if because Charlemagne the God, he basically like, okay, say if you're in a debate and that person got the chip and they just, pretty much, mopping the floor with your ass because they got all the information with, uploading within their head, and you just a regular person. And that's how they going to push it. You're going to have something like that to compete in this world, Then you had, just hilarious doofy ass. I don't know. They all sitting there like, you don't know. No, we know your ass gonna take it. If you feeling that way, right? If you saying what you saying right about now, no, you gonna take it. You definitely gonna take it. If it's, especially, because they're gonna. And why are they doing this with so-called black people? I mean, we've seen shows with so-called white people, but they're definitely gonna start. When they start anything, they always start with Jake, because they understand that when we say Jake, so-called blacks, tribe of Judah, they're the most influential people in the world. So they're going to start with Jake. Now, something that I thought about as well yesterday, or the day before when I seen that video, I'm like, okay, so what about these athletes or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Because wouldn't that be like an enhancement performance drug type of dilly? Wouldn't that go along those lines? If, say, for instance, you got somebody like LeBron James, he go and get the Neuralink implant. It helps him to jump 3 more feet higher and, help him, with his speed and shit. Instead of running the court at, the speed that he runs it at now, he can just, fucking pretty much just jump from, one end of the court to the fucking other end. What about all, so, because we understand that, when it comes to Esau, he uses a lot of our athletes to promote certain things. They're the ones that's kind of got like the tattoos on every damn body, as far as NFL, NBA. That's the reason why you'll see Jake running around with their whole goddamn body tattooed up, shit all on their damn face, looking doofy as hell, can't get a damn job. But see, they use influences like that because they, these millionaire stars, they have a lot of influence amongst Jake, because Jake only trying to be a rapper or and I can see it, maybe with the rap, but how would they push that off with these athletes? You know what I'm saying? Maybe with the actors or whatever, but AI, they writing scripts and using their own AI generated people look and all that other shit. So they pretty much kind of like taking all that stuff anyway. But for them to actually, like, say with COVID-19, they came with all those so-called black athletes to get Jake to go out and take that shot. And a lot of them, those athletes died, man. You know what I'm saying? Hank Aaron's and them, all those different people. Hey, their asses is no longer here, So how are they going to pull that off as far as that goes? I don't know. But they're going to try and make it seem cool. That's why when I seen the Breakfast Club hook up, I'm like, man, they got a lot of listeners. A lot of people listen to that show. And then they actually put a lot of thoughts into people's minds, because the one guy, I don't can't think who it was. He was like, well, what if you can have every language in the world downloaded into your head, basically, and you go to France or whatever, and you're speaking fluent French right off the jump, or wherever you go, you're speaking it fluently. You don't need none of these, little hookups, little classes. They got all kinds of apps and stuff like that now where you can learn a language and all this other shit. So you wouldn't have to do that anymore. Or think about the movie The Matrix, when Neo first came in and they plugged him in, and the guy, he was like, oh, let's get rid of the bullshit, we're gonna get straight to the punch, you know what I'm saying? So basically he got straight to the fighting, you know what I'm saying? Disc, you know, he shoved that shit in, and that shit ended up hitting his neural system, so to speak, and shit. He was in that motherfucker for hours just learning. He was like, oh, I know jujitsu. And then you got that scene where Lawrence Fishburne say, oh, for real? Well, show me, you know, type of deal, you know. And they went into that simulated room, and, you know, they started to get down, you know what I'm saying? But he was uploaded with that shit. So imagine them telling Jake, oh shit, nigga, we can upload. I mean, you just imagine, like, it'll be just like a T-Mobile or Verizon store on the corner where Jake can just go in, sit down, plug in, and just, you know, at a push of a button, he can just be uplinked with whatever the fuck he want to know for the day, or whatever he want to be for whatever price, you know. Think about that. And that's how Esau sell that shit, you know. Certain shit, of course, they'll of course leave for the elite. You know, they're not just gonna let Jake walk off into the store, sit down in a damn chair, be linked up, and he push, I wanna be fucking Superman. You know, no, your Superman gonna have limits. That's only gonna be for the elite, you know, to be the, the nigga that can actually, you know, dodge bullets and bullets bounce off of him, you know, fucking punching through a damn wall, and, you know, teleporting from one fucking place to the next. Nah, that would be only for the elite. I'm just using that as an example. But just think about that. Jake would go for some stuff like that. All people would. You already got people out here doing enhancements now. They already, you know, and that can be something as simple as a butt lift. A Brazilian butt lift. You know, chicks out here getting their damn cheeks and lips done, tits and shit done. You know, you got a guy that's 5'3", he going out here getting motherfucking leg extensions. So you're living in a society where people want to change and they want to be somewhat better. I remember years back when they was talking about the designer babies, you know, where they could just basically spike a gene, have your baby already born, you know, with this particular look, you know, his height, how smart they are, the color of the eyes, all this other little shit like that. So, and it's not like the technology is not out there. It's just that they're going to introduce it to the public in a way where they're going to, you know, try and, he's just going to come with those smooth words. You know, Esau real smooth and crafty, man. But then once, you know, everything hit, they don't understand that, you know. It's almost like, you know, having your cell phone. Okay, well, all right, you got all these features. You just bought this $1,500 iPhone 16 or some shit like that. And, okay, it's only good if you're paying the bill. You know, if you don't have no internet, you know what I'm saying, you through. You know, you know, you don't have no. So, and they do have the ability to shut your iPhone down when they want to. That's the reason why, you know, you can have an iPhone 5 that would still work from way back in the days, but, you know, for them to want you to get something else, you know, they would slow your your battery up. They'll slow your the way that it moves up, and you glitches and shit. And you're like, oh shit, it's time to get another phone. But actually, that phone was still okay. It was just that they want you to upgrade. So, you know, you just never know with Esau, man. You know, this man is not to be trusted. I just seen this right here, and, you know, to any of you brothers that may have gotten this, if you have an iPhone and you getting automatic updates, just know, and you got an Apple Watch, one of these ones, just know that they are up. You know, they're taking that data of your blood oxygen experience, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? iOS 18.6.1. I got an older iPhone. It's not because I don't do shit. I'm about to get rid of it anyway. I mean, really, in reality, I've been wanting to go back to just a plain Android, because iPhone is just a piece of shit when it comes to certain stuff, especially when it comes to upload. Now, it's the worst. It's nowhere near what an Android can do. Android is a bullet speed pass and download a damn video. This shit would take it's just too much, you know. And then it's just too. It's actually it's overrated to me personally. I think iPhones are overrated, but it is what it is. So it's talking about an update tonight, but it hasn't. It kept saying that for night after night after night. I'm like, well, what the fuck is going on? And then just so happened I was able to look into it, and that's the spirit though, because I was able to, you know, get a video out of it, and hopefully, you know, it's you know, edifying. You know what I'm saying? So we can, you know, because we're the watchmen, we got to keep eyeball out on stuff like this right here, because it goes off into one of the last major prophecies, which is that mark of the beast. I'm just saying it straightforward. Now, you know, my mark of the beauty and the beast, or the MOTB. You know, we say C hit, but man, I'm just to the point now. Hey, this is the information that they're trying to gather. They want to really know your day. You know, Trump and I was talking about, you know, already knowing what was going to be wrong with your ass in 6 years, and you just come on to the doctor's office, you know what I'm saying, and get plugged in. You know what I'm saying? They'll handle that shit with a plug-in. You're not going to need no doctor, you know. So just know the time period that we're in. That's all that I really want to touch on in this particular video. So, hey, I pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwame Yasha Allah in the Bible Ball.